In the background is where George Bush is being crowned for the next 4 years. We're going to make sure on November 4th, George Bush is not reelected. We throw him out of office. I want George Bush back in Crawford, Texas, sawing logs, chasing squirrels, and learning to read and write. Thank you very much.
Welcome to InFocus. I'm Kyle McCormick. We are joined by a very special guest this week, Stoney Burke. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
You might recognize Stoney as the street comedian outside of Donnell. Stoney, I think everybody or most everybody at this campus recognizes you, but not very many people know who you are as a person. So explain, who is the real Stoney? What was your upbringing? What were your influences when you were growing up? What made you want to be a street performer?
Well, I've always had the ability to make people laugh. And I do, as a child, I grew up in a democratic, liberal kind of household. My father and mother were involved with civil rights in the church, and I guess that kind of shed some light on what I was to become. But, it's mostly wanting to perform and be a clown.
How many times have you been arrested or harassed by police?
Well, if you include harassment, it goes off the charts. But maybe about a couple dozen arrests at different parts in the country. Not a lot lately, though.
Okay.
That's mostly in the first 10 years when I was doing it. Yeah.
You're known for a number of things.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows you knows certain things about you. One is that you managed to get into the 1984 Democratic National Convention.
1992.
1992.
Stoney Does Houston.
Explain what that was about. How did you get in, first of all?
I knew a filmmaker, videographer from University of Michigan, where I was performing at the time, called Bob Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
He called me up and said there's a show on PBS called The 90s, and they want to have correspondents just go out on the floor of the convention for like 20 minutes at a time, so we had to share the credentials, but we had full press credentials.
And this was the Republican
This
National
was the
Convention.
Republican convention in 1992.
Good luck Good luck in November. Hey, how do you spell re-election? One question for you. Are you a born-again Christian because you feel bad about 10,000 dead Nicaraguans from the CIA war that you led?
Actually, I didn't lead the CIA war.
Do you think Ronald Reagan will come to justice someday?
Here's the question.
Hey, you have a good night, Mr. North. Peace. Aren't you a little sensitive about...
Darn right, I'm sensitive for a jackass who comes over here and says, am I a high-priced politician?
Come on, don't you think politicians should be civil service?
Yeah, I believe in civil service, and civil service is standing up for all of our people and calling them the way I see them, and that's what I do.
You're rude and you make too much money.
You're a jackass.
Thanks.
And you never ask if you can go, and you just kind of go for it.
Well, that's
right?
the secret of everything I do.
Right.
I mean, I'm on a public university here. I don't ask the regents or whoever it is around here if I can go speak. I speak. If I go to a Stanford, they say private property, I'm off.
Mm-hmm.
I have no legal standing.
Right.
It's the same with anything else. You always ask, and of course they're going to go, of course you can't. Like, there's a scene in Stoney Does Houston where I climb up on the podium at the Republican convention. I'm actually there talking.
That's it for this edition. Now, unfortunately, we couldn't fit in all of my interview with Stoney because my boss, Adam, yells at me whenever my segment is beyond its time limit. So tune in next week for part 2 of my interview with Stoney Burke. Thanks for watching this edition, and until next time, stay focused.